When you're enveloped in a good book, it's nearly impossible to put down. This particular title carried out in a very similar fashion. I was struck with awe, laughter, and even sadness, all within the first few minutes of hitting start. Little did I know what the mountains, forests, and ravines of the fiery Wyoming countryside had in store for me in the remaining hours to come. Welcome everybody, DeltaBugles here, bringing you an honest second opinion of Firewatch.
No!
Developer Campo Santo presents their flagship game by transporting the gamer into the shoes of a lost man named Henry. We find out a lot about Henry within the first moments of the game, moments in which give players a chance to interact with parts of Henry's backstory as it unfolds, though it doesn't ultimately change the course of the main game. Needless to say, it immediately becomes clear why our protagonist chose to isolate himself in such a remote and barren setting. Though these opening moments occur rather rapidly with little player-controlled interludes taking your first steps in the national park, the writing was done in such a way that, I believe intentionally, really caught me off guard, and instantly makes the player sympathetic to Henry and his current life predicament. Without giving away too much of the good stuff, I'll say that it becomes quite clear early on why Henry decides to exile himself in such a part of the world. And though his decision brings himself to one of the most isolated places in the country, he certainly won't be lonely. Enter Delilah.
Good morning, Henry. Well, I guess good afternoon. You probably slept like a rock. Anyway, there's still a few hours of daylight to get some work in. I can see you at your desk, so call me when you're ready.
Delilah is Henry's tenured boss in a neighboring lookout tower who helps coach him on his new duties of monitoring Wyoming's flammable features via a trusty and brightly colored walkie-talkie.
Huh, I could see your tower from over here.
Once her voice rings through the radio waves to Henry for the first time,
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
the emphasis of storytelling becomes almost exclusively through their conversations. The writing between these two characters cannot be understated. It is easily the highlight of the experience. Their share of quips and woes throughout the game are a true study of trust and friendship development as they both find common grounds over their tortured souls.
It's hard because, well, I fucked up.
We all fuck up. But being out here can't be some sort of punishment for you.
Let's just leave it, okay? I couldn't be what she needed, and that's all I want to say.
You shouldn't live your life feeling bad about that.
Whatever.
I'll let you keep hiking.
It's not all doom and gloom. In fact, there were many parts I couldn't help but cheerfully smirk at their silly flirtatious remarks they'd often spout to one another, all whilst tending to their duties as you explore your new frontier.
I want to know about your eyes.
Get out of here.
I'm drawing you. I need to know.
You're what?
Is that okay? Don't answer. I'm gonna do it regardless.
Fine.
Your eyes, tell me.
They're steely. A cold, hard stare.
Like a Siberian husky.
Sure.
Look out,
Over
someone just
time,
talked to
you truly start to feel a part of their
Not
bond.
the same way. I look forward talking to you, even if you don't feel comfortable opening up. You always can. I wish I was over there.
I wish you were too.
The way the script was written in flows conveys drastically different tones, often within mere seconds of another. Peppered in was even a fair amount of fear and dread, though not so much to be deemed a thriller. There were certainly times where a cold shock was sent straight down my spine.
There's some guy out here giving me the creeps.
The creeps? Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
I don't think so.
Henry, there's something someone should have told you about this area.
The chapters in this game are broken up over the course of the summer, each day bringing about a new task at varying parts of the map. While the overall game is short, roughly 4 hours, the presentation and story are really what carry this game to greatness. And in case you were wondering what I think about this game, it is great. The other half of the storytelling is done through the art style and environment developer Campo Santo chose for this game. Firewatch delivers an onslaught of unforgiving beauty from start to finish. You're treated to a unique array of vistas, tree-packed forests, and beautiful lake shores, all painted with their signature palette of distinct orange and yellow hues. The graphics are somewhat of a comic book type aesthetic, and it truly lends itself to its uniqueness and style. If you saw a screenshot of this game at any point, you know exactly what that game was.
It's beautiful.
Even though you are near enough that Delilah can keep an eye on your goings-on, you are geographically separated.
That is how you get to my sector.
This presents a unique interplay, as throughout the game, you are given prompts, and are even encouraged to, report every little thing that you see, find, and do to Delilah via your walkie-talkie.
What's in this cave down here?
In Thunder Canyon?
Thunder Canyon?
Hey, I didn't name it.
I know that might sound cumbersome, but trust me, the quality of writing and voice acting of our characters here, as well as the ability to direct the tone of the conversation at certain points, make every segment of the game feel fresh and enjoyable.
Who was that?
Who is who?
I don't think he has any idea. What was that? Were you talking about me?
What?
You left your button pressed or something.
It is a little odd that things you'd think would be included in a game set in the wilderness, such as fishing, building campfires, getting rocks, etc., are absent from the gameplay. Compounded by the fact that Campo Santo patched in a free roam mode that doesn't really allow you to do much of anything other than walk/hike.
Leave to come out here.
By design, the relationship between Henry and Delilah was truly the sole focus of the experience. Enjoyable as that is, I can't help but wish I could go back to my sector of the Wyoming mountain range and do whatever it is that I wanted with those little metagame additions. In lieu of a traditional map interface system, Henry actually pulls out a physical map and notes where you are in relation to the game world, which is a nice touch. Along with a compass, of course. If you're a fan of scouring games for collectibles, you might be a little disappointed, as while technically there are some items scattered across the map, they are found in very obvious deposit boxes that all have an identical unlock code, a very simple one at that. A puzzle game, this is not.
Enjoy.
I played this game on both PC and Xbox One. I have to mention that the game does stagger at some points with the console experience when exploring the world, and that's one of the truly unfortunate parts of the otherwise beautiful looking game. Though there isn't tons of detail, and there oddly isn't a lot of wildlife present in the great expanse, I dare say this is a perfect example of less is more. Walkie-talkies never sounded so good.
Hello?
The majority of what you'll be listening to throughout the game is the voices of both Henry and Delilah, which are essentially perfection.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
The times where you guys are radio silent, the sounds of the earth play out as you'd expect. Running of water down streams, wind whipping through crevices of the trees and rocks, and sometimes the utter silence of night. The soundtrack for this game was composed by Chris Remo, the mastermind behind the music of Gone Home and 30 Flights of Loving. It absolutely does not disappoint. It's like a marriage between the music of The Last of Us and Tron. Soft tones from both acoustic and electric guitars, long, mysterious chords that expand to infinity, key tones that taper into solace. Music was used to great effect in this title, not overbearing, but bringing the perfect amount of texture to very specific situations throughout the game that brought the overall package together. Achievement hunters rejoice! You can score 100% of these trophies in a single run of the game with very little to no effort. In fact, I think there are only two where you might have to go out of your way to nab. One of them is making friends with a turtle, and failing at making friends with a raccoon. If you know me, you know how much I love hunting for achievements, even the challenging ones. I find that they add to the overall value I'm getting out of a title. So, in that regard, it might be a little disappointing, but hey, grabbing a quick 1000 gamer score or a platinum trophy on occasion isn't the worst thing either.
The thoroughfare because it's so remote. Why?
I found an old flyer for a missing hiker. It just got me thinking, that's all.
Before I get into my closing remarks, I'm going to warn you they might be slightly spoilery. If you want to know what I think about the game, I love it, and you're free to leave. You've been warned. Firewatch is an expose on a very tough issue: depression. One could surmise the title itself alludes to the fire that is burning within Henry, or perhaps that Delilah is there to watch that fire, protecting him, similar to as how they're watching for fires in the great Wyoming aspens. There aren't enough games that load this sort of authentic and complex baggage into them. They're real. This is one of those games that, after complete, you sit there and think about it, think about all the possible meanings, if they are even real at all, and those stick with you for days, weeks, even months after, at least for me. So you know I rate games on a letter grade basis, which leads me to my rating of Firewatch as an enthusiastic A-. It is an outstanding experience. Not only that, but I'd give it my certified seal of approval. Though it may be generalized as the negatively connotated walking simulator, the strong writing and voice acting performances, as well as the eye-candied art and style, really make this game worth it. Only made better were the moments of suspense and the many turns the story took on top of an already adult-oriented foundation. I can't help but want to complain that you can run through the game in 3 to 4 hours, but it is ultimately because I did not want this game to end. If you're into adventure, exploration, or narrative-driven experiences, I absolutely recommend this game to you. Thanks for watching, and I hope I have given you a useful second opinion. Have a wonderful day.
Cause I can be me in old Shoshone.